Hi, I'm Sonia, and I decided to do my technical presentation on game artificial intelligence. I'm specifying the reinforcement learning part because this is what I'm mainly going to go over. So first I wanted to go over our learning goals. First I wanted to understand what game artificial intelligence was and how it's being used to improve the gaming experience. Then we want to be able to identify the artificial intelligence concepts and the usage in the games today. Then I want to understand the algorithms used in order to implement this. And I wanted to go over reinforced learning and how it applies to the situations, and explain how we can lower the difficulty for a computer who is currently under a learning algorithm in case that gets too hard. So first of all, we want to see what is artificial intelligence. Well, according to SAS, which is a large software development company specifying in AI, defines it as AI, or artificial intelligence, is the science of training machines to perform human tasks. So how does this apply to video games? Well, first of all, speech, what the characters say, what we say, and how they develop what to reply. An example of this could be like Alexa outside of video games. Another one is pathing, as in which paths do the NPCs take. You will see this a lot in farming games, perhaps, when the NPCs choose to take a path to certain locations. Human-machine interaction, which is how they would reply in pathing, and how we see the dynamic nature of the game, how it evolves over depending on the user input. So here's a very simple AI example. This right here is the enemy team, which would be controlled by the computer, and right here would be the team controlled by the human player, which is generally the input. So after an action a human makes, after one of these guys make a combat move, the computer must compute some kind of script and make a decision on what to do afterwards. The computer has to be able to compute differently based on the different inputs that the human can take. So how do we do this? One of the biggest examples is reinforcement learning. The computer has to learn based on the best output of a situation. This involves training for the system in order to learn. So then how do we train the system? We have multiple things we can judge this on, and these are the main three ones right here. First is the reward, if they get a reward after an action. Penalty, if they actually get penalized after taking a certain action, and the progress, if they made any progress by taking the action. The weight is typically a function based on these three depending on the actions that were previously taken. These all typically start at 0. So as a simple example, here is a sort of maze where the computer starts right here and wants to get to the heart. For rewards, we would see the heart as the reward. For the penalty, we'll see all these lightning bolts, which can be considered penalties. Progress is depending on where the person is. If they take a right, this will be progress. If they take a down, this will be progress. As a different example, if they moved right here, taking a right and taking a down will be progress, but moving back up or to the left will not be taken as progress because they're not moving closer to the heart. For here, let's look at it on our past example. Here are our actions. We can do nothing, attack, block, or parry. So we need to consider the rewards, penalty, and progress for each one of these, and this will be considered in updating the weights, which will be taken back and generate another script. Doing nothing will generally do us no rewards and no progress, and it may give us a penalty depending on the human, if the human decides to attack us at that time. Attack will give us a reward if it hits, and it will progress us because it's progressing on the human taking damage. There is a possibility of a penalty if they get hit, and so on, so on. Now we had to look at the difficulty of the AI. If they learn perfectly, will the player have fun, or will they continually lose because the AI has learned to solve this? There are some methods to tackle this problem. There is heavy penalties. This will scale the effectiveness of both rewards and penalization to impact the weight by a greater value. Normally you would only move it based on a 1 value, but if you use this, it will impact it greatly. There's also weight clipping, which sets the limit of a weight, and if it goes over this weight, it will subtract it and can only go to the maximum value that you have set. Top cooling ignores actions that are equal to or above the maximum weight. For that, it would be as though in this example that the action 2 would not be taken at all because it's over the weight. And here are my references for this presentation. I've categorized them into different categories depending on what you might be interested in. Thank you.